What's going on, people in YouTube land and beyond, and welcome to today's brand new episode of Rock Bliss with Kimchi Chris. I am, of course, Kimchi Chris, and I'm gonna bring you all the rock bliss that I can possibly bring you. Did that work? Did that sound good? Was that too radio DJ-y? I don't know, but welcome to today's episode regardless. And today is a continuation from something that we started on the channel a long time ago. And by a long time ago, I mean like half a year ago, but it was still a while. I decided it was a good idea to show you guys all of my music shirts, all of my band shirts, all my rock and roll, heavy metal, what have you shirts. And it was a lot more tedious and time consuming than I assumed. So I took a long break, a half a year break, but here we are. So without further ado, let's get into all these pieces of cloth. And just like the previous videos in this series, there's no rhyme or reason to the order or anything of these. They were just thrown in a box and they've been sitting there since that last video half a year ago. They smell kind of weird now, so I'm suffering for you guys. And the first one that we have is Andrew WK. Look at that. Andrew WK, You're Not Alone tour shirt. Look at all the dates on the back. Everybody's gotta love Andrew WK. This is a cool shirt. It's not necessarily the best of the Andrew shirts. I don't even love the front print, in all honesty. I'm not sure why I picked this one. There were probably cooler options, but it's got all the tour dates on the back, and man, that was a tour. That was back when bands could freely travel. We got March 24th all the way through September 28th. Wow, and what year was this again? 2018? Yeah, 2018. You're Not Alone, Andrew WK. What a shirt to have in the collection. And next up, we have another great shirt from another party band. We are really starting off with a bang. We have this amazing Plunder Z shirt. Look at that. Just look at that. Look at all that artwork. What a great band. If you don't know Plunder Z, you're missing out. It's Japanese action, comic punk. It's crazy. The stage show is crazy. Their singer, Plunder Yellow, is one of the nicest guys I've known my entire life as far as musicians go, and he's a great visual artist, and you can see the art on their stuff is great. So gotta check out Plunder Z. Next up, we have a classic shirt in my collection. It's a classic shirt because it's Blondie, but it's also classic because I've had this shirt for a really long time. It feels worn, feels comfortable to the touch, and this was an expensive one if you paid full price for it at the time, because it's one of those junk food shirts. You know that clothing company, they do a bunch of the vintage shirts. They throw a little extra on there. You can see on the side, I don't know if that's gonna show up at all. It's got a thing there. It's got a thing telling you that it's a good brand. But you gotta love Blondie. Great classic band. Everyone knows Blondie. I don't really have to describe them to you guys, I'm pretty sure. And speaking of classics, we got another classic right here in my hand. Slayer, Rain in Blood. Not much of a story behind this one. There haven't been a lot of stories yet, necessarily. I like doing stories, but there haven't been a lot yet. But, you know, it's a classic Slayer album. It's a classic Slayer shirt. You can't go wrong with it. You gotta have it in your life. Next up, we have something that's not exactly metal, but is very metal adjacent, and at times I would say straight out metal. Chelsea Wolfe. I got this from the one time I saw her perform live, which I believe was 2017, 18, 16, something like that. Everything pre-pandemic is really hard to keep up with now, but it was a wonderful show. It was a very metal show. When you see her live, it's very metal, very sludgy, very droney, very loud, very evil, very ominous. So you gotta check out Chelsea Wolfe. Depending what record you look up, some of them aren't the most metal in the world because she's someone that gets close but never quite gets there, but also she does kind of get there. I'm not good at really describing an artist like that, but she's awesome and you gotta check her out. You gotta check her out. I don't know why I've only seen her live once, but that's my bad decision, not yours. Next up, this is a great one. This is a great one. This brings back some memories of a time, a very specific time, and this is one of the Butch Walker and the Let's Go Out Tonight's tour shirts. How about that? How about that? That's amazing. That was one of my favorite times, if not my favorite time of all time, to be a Butch Walker fan, because he was playing Nashville like, I don't know, it felt like 2 or 3 times a year. The Let's Go Out Tonight's record was great. It was Butch doing straightforward like glam rock, David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust style, and the shows were super fun. He had a big backing band. They were awesome. He was awesome. He's always awesome. And to be fair, all of his shows are great. in some ways they have gotten better over the years, but I remember fondly loving the Let's Go Out Tonight shows because, again, he was playing here so often. I saw him multiple times, I feel like. Around that time period, the pre-album tour, the during album tour, the other during album tour, the post-album tour. He was there a bunch, okay? So it's a thing that happened. Next up, oh boy, we have another classic one. I kind of had been wondering where this shirt went, and that makes sense. It's been sitting in a box for 7 months. Prince, Purple Rain shirt. Look at that. Look at that. This album, this movie, this man, this myth, this legend. You gotta love Prince. You gotta love Purple Rain. I don't have any grand story behind this. I never got to see Prince live. That's one of my most regrettable things in my life, but at the same time, I couldn't really help it. I tried to see him live. On some of those live dates when he was doing the hit and run shows before his untimely passing, tried to get tickets to some shows that were near here because he never played here, but in my town, but definitely tried to go. Didn't happen, but at least I have this shirt. And next up, let's just change gears completely. Another Guitar Wolf shirt. I'm pretty sure I've shown them in a previous video, and I don't know which show specifically I got this one from, but it is Guitar Wolf, and that's all you really need to know. If you don't know Guitar Wolf, they're this crazy, legendary Japanese rock and roll, punk rock, noise band. They've been around since the 80s. Their shows are super intense. They wear leather at all times. It doesn't matter if you're seeing them when it's 1,000 degrees out or if you're seeing them in winter. They're gonna be wearing leather head to toe. They never take it off. It's very sweaty. It's very messy. That's what Guitar Wolf does, and they're insane. You gotta see the live show. The live show's great from Guitar Wolf, and that's really the way to experience them. If you look them up here on YouTube or check out a record, that's good. And if you enjoy it, that's great. But you gotta see them live. And speaking of Japanese bands and bands you gotta see live, crazy bands, Melt Banana shirt. How about that? I don't know which show I got this from. You see that back print? I don't know how well that's showing up on camera, but don't know which show I got this from, but I've seen them a couple times. I'm always making a point to buy a shirt because in my mind, I always think it might be the last time I'm gonna see them since they're all the way from Japan, but I've seen them like, I think 3 or 4 times now, which I consider a stroke of luck on my end. And they're this great band. They're like this super noisy, but kind of poppy and definitely weird, artsy band. It's hard to describe them. I'm not doing good at describing bands today that aren't straightforward rock bands, I guess. But you gotta check out Melt Banana. They're classic. They've also been around since forever, since the early 90s. It's been a while. And speaking of classics, the next one, it's a super classic shirt, as in it's not really that old, but it's classic. Look, it's me. It's a Night Sabers shirt with me on it. Little cartoon me, Night Sabers. This is the, what did we put on this one? Nerd pop party music from outer space. And you know, Night Sabers, it's my band. We play nerd pop music from outer space. We party a lot. This is a great shirt. I was always excited that I finally got a shirt with my face on it, and there might be some more of those coming soon because if you're watching this when it's new, merch coming soon. But that's enough of that. Time for another shirt that's completely different because it's also a black shirt with white print on it. There's a lot of those in the collection, but this is a Joan, Jett, and the Blackheart shirt. How cool is that? I know when I got that, I can't remember the exact date, but it was whatever year that Joan Jett was touring around with Cheap Trick and Heart, and I got a ticket last minute, front row, right on Rick Nielsen's side. There was nothing better. There's nothing better. 3 classic bands in a row. I had to get a shirt to commemorate the evening. Joan by far had the coolest shirts. I mean, that's awesome. You gotta love Joan Jett. If you don't love Joan Jett, something's wrong with you. There's not much else to say. And I'm laughing because it's another classic band shirt on black with white print. It's a Sick of It All shirt. How about that? I got to see Sick of It All on Warped Tour. Believe it or not, they played Warped Tour. It was the second to last year, I believe, that Warped Tour existed because that was the year they tried to book a lot of older bands. They had like Sick of It All and Guar and who else was on it? My Adolescents, they were on it. Municipal Waste was on it. All kinds of cool bands, and I think it helped sink Warped Tour's ticket sales even more than they were already sinking. But for that last year, it was pretty awesome. And getting to see Sick of It All was great. I know that they had a really bad time spot, and they played to like 50 people. Can you believe that? Legendary hardcore punk playing to 50 people. What a disgrace, but the shirt was great. It's a great thing to get. And next up, I didn't plan this. I told you guys, these weren't organized in any way, shape, or form. We have a Calabrese shirt, also black with white print. I couldn't make this up if I tried. Calabrese is great. I believe I've already shown off a shirt or two of them in one of the previous videos. I know I have several of them there. Straightforward, just spooky, rock and roll, punk, kind of, if you go back in the day. If you like stuff that's a little spooky, and a little bit catchy, and a little bit great, and altogether awesome. Also leather is represented with them, sunglasses, the whole deal. They're great. You gotta check them out. Gotta check them out. And we have another shirt from a band we've already featured. If you notice, if I like a band, I end up buying like 1,000 shirts from them, but this one's great. It's a Plunder Z Mad Tiger shirt, which is one of their signature songs. Just got Mad Tiger all over it, and on the back, you have the guys on there, and a spot to put your name. That's what they said that was for, and it's a great shirt. So many memories on this too. Plunder Z was another one of those bands that they were based out of New York, but they were playing in Nashville like twice a year for a while, and we became friends with them, really good friends with them. We opened for them a couple times, and I don't know, it was a good time. It was a good time. I'm sounding like an old here, saying, remember the good old days when Plunder Z used to come through a lot? But it was a good time, and I'm not making this up. At least we're away from the just white print on black shirts one. Now we have another pink one. Plunder Z with their metal logo from their Metalander Z album, where they made a metal album. They were more of a punk band, but they made a metal album, and this is the shirt from that album. But speaking of metal, we have a metal band here. For sure, we have a metal band here. For sure, we have a Savage Master shirt. How about that? I got to see them pre-pandemic. That would have been 2019. They were one of the last shows I saw. They were opening for Lucifer in a little tiny venue here in town called The Basement that's literally like a basement. And this is just straightforward, traditional metal, and it's great. They have masks. All of them wear masks in the band except for their singer, who's this like awesome female singer with like kind of a medieval attire outfit. I don't know. Words are hard, okay? But you gotta check out Savage Master. If you like traditional heavy metal, you can't go wrong with them, even though they're still somewhat of an unknown in the scheme of things. I feel if you're in like the underground metal scene, you definitely know them, but they deserve to be a lot bigger. They definitely have a quality about them that should make them a bigger band. Great band, great live show, good records, everything about them's cool. And speaking of bands that should be bigger, here's one that I think should honestly be like a household name. They were huge for a second, and then they just kind of went away, and that is The Darkness. How about that? The Darkness. This is from the Back to the USSA tour, 2016. I'm reading that off the back for sure. Seen them a couple times, and this is great. You gotta love this shirt with the Back to the Future kind of parody on the front. And Darkness is a great band. I remember meeting them on their first tour of America. Actually, I'm gonna take it back. I don't know if it was their first tour, but it was an early tour for the first record. Met them after the show, super nice guys, and ever since then I've always been a fan, and I've always just thought they should be a little bit bigger. Hey, we have a shirt that's not black. This gray one, I recognize this, I have to look at it. It's a Butch Walker shirt. I've worn this shirt to death. It's got an accordion on it, and again, we've talked about Butch Walker a lot. A lot of these shirts are going quicker because I've already talked about the artist, but I don't remember what tour I got that one on, but it's a great shirt. I like that one a lot. Next up, we have another black shirt with white print on it. The Infinity Cat, just logo shirt. Infinity Cat's a record label out of Nashville that was founded by the guys in Jeff the Brotherhood, and they put out a lot of good records from bands like Jeff the Brotherhood and Diarrhea Planet and Heavy Cream and all kinds of cool bands. It's kind of like, I don't know, it's like punk rock, but not, if that makes sense. It's like rock and roll, but not, but I don't know. It's a cool label, whatever. Got that shirt from them. I think it was like super cheap. They had a stand set up at one of the, local things around town. And next up, I have an Alkaline Trio shirt. How about that? Alkaline Trio shirt. I believe I got this for pre-ordering the My Shame Is True album, which funny enough, I don't have that record anymore because it ended up going on to be worth a lot, and I ended up selling it. But I love Alkaline Trio. One of the best pop punk bands ever, because they don't sound like what you think of if you think of like Blink-182 type of pop punk. This band's a lot darker. The fact that Matt is a Satanist probably helps with that, and funny enough, he's in Blink-182 now. But This band's a lot darker and a lot cooler, a lot catchier, and yeah, I like Alkaline Trio. I think it was kind of required to like them for a while if you were in my age demographic, but I definitely do like them. And next up, I have another Plunder Z shirt. Another Plunder Z Mad Tiger themed shirt. Look at that though. That design is awesome. I love that one. I absolutely love that one. I know I wore that one in a video once and somebody actually recognized what it was from. So it's always good. It's always good. Always shows that you guys are moving in the right direction with me. And here's one on, I don't know what color shirt you would call this, like light brown, tan, something. I don't know. It's a Full of Hell shirt nonetheless though. You guys know Full of Hell, or at least you should. They're a great just grindcore band, very heavy, some death metal growls in there, some black metal tinges even in there. They're always putting out music. They're very prolific, and I've seen them play live quite a few times. I know I got this at a show. Don't remember which one exactly, but I've seen them several times, always at the end in Nashville, and you know, the shows I wouldn't say they blur together, but they blur together. And speaking of a time period where we could actually go to shows, here's Anita Strauss shirt. How cool is that? If you don't know who she is the guitarist for Alice Cooper, amongst a lot of other things. And this I picked up from her when I saw her live, solo. The solo version of her. She's playing stuff off of her solo record, and she did do like an Alice song or two, and it was really cool. Got to meet her after the show. She was super nice. There weren't a lot of people there. I think that she hasn't quite got to that level yet of being like the known guitar player, like mainstream wise, but I think if you're a guitarist, and especially if you're an Alice fan, you know who Anita Strauss is, and super nice, good show. I love seeing her every time she plays with Alice. I think she adds a lot to the stage performance, musically as well as visually, since she's always just running around, jumping around, and her show as a solo act was really cool too. It was a good time. I'm glad I picked that shirt up. And this pile of shirts it's almost done. Look, there's not a lot left. We're gonna get through this pile because there's still a lot to get through. We're definitely gonna have a part 4, definitely a part 5, probably a part 6 and 7. I don't know when it's gonna end, but it will end at some point, maybe. But next up, we have another Plunder Z shirt. Sound like a broken record, so many Plunder Z shirts, but you got PTVZ here. PTVZ, PTVZ. P is in like Plunder, then TV, and then Z, like they always, that's the tour name. They made a kids album. It was cool. I liked it. It was a green shirt. Don't see those a lot. And next up we have an Isentella Shirt. They are a goth band that I saw at Dragon Con one year, and the live performance was pretty good. And these shirts, I remember, were pretty cheap, if I'm just being honest. And so I picked it up. Thought it was a cool design. Not much else to say. Didn't meet them or anything, but cool shirt nonetheless. Next up, we have a shirt from a band that I'm friends with some of the guys. And I think I picked this up actually when they played Warped Tour. And this is the Protomen. How about that? The Protomen are a Nashville-based rock opera band that all their songs are about Mega Man and the future. It's so great. And this one they called the Victory World Tour, 2014 tour, because they couldn't call it the Warped Tour on their shirt. It has all the dates back there, and that's what it is. It's the Warped Tour shirt for them. It seems crazy that they played that show back all the way in 2014 because it seems a lot more recent. But it was cool. See some guys you're used to seeing around the neighborhood on the big stage at Warped Tour, and if you've never checked out the Protomen, you gotta check them out. If you like, I don't know, if you like Meatloaf. They remind me of Meatloaf because the songs are really long and there's a lot of story and epicness to them, but they also have a cover album where they cover nothing but Queen songs, so if you like Queen, that might be a good choice for you as well. It's a pretty good album. Next up, we have something completely different than everything we've looked at today. Have a Blackpink tour shirt from their North American tour that would have been, what? Would that have been 2018 or 19? Everything pre-pandemic is so hard to keep track of. I believe it was 19. Anyway, it's the first time that Blackpink toured America, and they did come to Duluth, Georgia, and myself and some buddies traveled to the show. It was great. It was just super fun to see a K-pop show, something you don't get to see too often. Still the only K-pop show I've ever experienced, and I would recommend it. If you like K-pop, obviously you know who Blackpink is, and if you don't like K-pop, you probably don't know who they are, but I think that's a cool shirt regardless. And next up we have a gray shirt. I have a gray one, a Butch Walker one. Similar to some of the other Butch Walker ones. Not sure which show I got this from. I've seen the guy like 15 or 20 times through the years, but nice shirt nonetheless. And next up we have another gray Butch Walker shirt. This is from the Stay Gold tour. It's on the front there. Tour 2016. I actually saw this tour in both Nashville and Atlanta. The dates are on the back. Let's see here. Yeah, Nashville was on August 19th and Atlanta was on August 20th. And I went down there with a friend to see them in Atlanta as well. 2 Atlanta shirts in a row. That's pretty cool. But it's crazy to think about because I think that might have been the last time I've seen him. So that really says how sad the last couple years have been. We're finally near the bottom of the pile. We're gonna end on some bangers, I can tell. These are some good shirts if you're into metal. These are some great shirts if you're into metal. Wow, I like that one. So you have the Immortal, Sons of Northern Darkness album cover. I've never seen Immortal, and I don't think a lot of people have in America probably at this point, but Immortal's great, you know, kind of just straightforward black metal. Sounds really cold, sounds really evil. If you like black metal, you definitely know who Immortal is. I don't think I really have to describe them. And we're ending with 2 shirts from the same band that I really hope I don't have to describe this band to anyone that's watching this channel. These are both from times I got to see these guys. Seen them a couple times now, and it's great. It's bringing back the memories. Bringing back the memories of when we could go to live shows and just get blown away, because this band always blows me away. This is Iron Maiden from the US Book of Souls Tour 2017. I'm reading that off the back of the shirt, but what a show it was. What a show it was. This was, I believe, when Ghost opened for him, which is awesome too, because Ghost put on a great show. Gotta love Ghost. I know a lot of people don't love them. I fall in the camp of absolutely loving them. I think they're great. I think they're great at what they do. And next up we have another Iron Maiden tour shirt, and this is from the Legacy of the Beast US Tour 2019. That was the last time I saw them. Yeah, last time I saw them. And this one they were doing a lot of older material and classic material, which if you're a fan of Maiden, you know that they don't always do a ton of that. They like to play their new stuff, which I think is pretty awesome, but it was nice to see pretty much a greatest hits type of set because I like Maiden, but I'm not as hardcore into them as I am, say, Kiss or something, so I like that set. But even when they play the hits, they still play some of the obscure stuff. It just was mostly older stuff, which was pretty cool, and they kind of ignored the last couple years of their releases, whereas that shirt I showed you before from the Book of Souls tour, like half the set was from that album because the songs on that album are very long. So yeah, it took a while to get through them, but it was still a great time nonetheless. And can you hear that? I'm hitting a table. It means there's no more shirts left. We got through a lot of shirts. Now there's dust everywhere. Why do shirts attract so much dust? There you have it, part 3 of my band shirt collection video series. I don't know when part 4 will be out, but if you're watching this when it's current, it's coming soon. If you're watching after the fact, maybe it's already out there. So did you guys see any shirts that perhaps you own, or did you see any from bands that you love or maybe you hate or anything else? Let me know in the comments below. And just like always, subscribe to the channel, hit the alarm, follow me on Instagram. You know all the things to do. I don't really have to go through with it. But your thoughts in the comments below. That's the most important thing. That's why we do this. And again, thank you guys so much for watching this video. This has been Rock Bliss with Kimchi Chris, and we will see you guys on the next episode.